How long does it take to learn German? Can I learn B2 in 2 months? Can you become fluent in a year? There's so much weird information out there, so let me give you a realistic overview of how long it takes from 0 to each level. And at the end of the video, I'll give you effective tips on how you can learn German even faster. Now the good thing is, for English speakers, German is one of the easier foreign languages to learn. If you're watching this video, you most likely understand English. That's extremely nice. Now in case you didn't know, in German there are 6 different language levels. A1 to C2, and for each one you can take a language exam to prove your skills. Okay, to calculate how long it takes to reach each level of German, let's say you start from absolute 0 and you study 4 hours per day, 5 days a week, which is a relatively intense schedule but not impossible. Let's call it the Germany fast lane schedule. Of course, you can always adjust the study times to your situation. I'm gonna go through the calculations in just a second. And let's imagine along the way you have good guidance with a clear structure, so you know what you need to learn. Your goal is to be able to clear the language exams for each level. Alright, let's talk about the A1 level. This is the beginner level of German. This one takes about 60 to 80 hours of study. So we remember 4 hours a day, 5 days a week with a good structure. That's about 4 weeks right there. So you could do the A1 level in 1 month. After 4 weeks of proper learning with correct guidance, you can confidently clear the Goethe A1 exam. For A1, you need to know about 500 words and very basic grammar. You can fill in forms with personal details, or you can order food in a restaurant. In the language learning program Speedy German that I created, my students also usually take 3 to 5 weeks to clear the A1 level and write the A1 exam. So we could say this is a realistic time frame. If you're interested in learning German fast without wasting any time, check out Speedy German. It's the first link in the video description. After the A1 level, you have the A2 level. A2 is elementary German. You need to know about 1500 words, 1500 Wörter. And here you have to study an additional 150 to 180 hours. It sounds like a lot, but this would be about 2 months to study A2. And this level is about developing the ability to communicate in everyday situations. If you want to come to Germany and survive here, I can recommend you at least be on the A2 level. Next we have the B1 level, intermediate German. Now cracking the B1 barrier is tougher. Maybe from A1 to A2 you took an additional 2 months, but from A2 to B1 it will definitely take longer than that. Language learning doesn't go linearly. With each level it gets more difficult. The vocabulary you need to know for B1 is about 3000 words. At this level you can deal with most situations in German, but don't expect to be fluent just yet. To get to B1 you have to usually study about 300 to 360 hours. If we maintain the Germany fast lane schedule, we can get this done in under 4 months. Now the B2 level of German is a big milestone for many people. You can interact with a good degree of fluency with native speakers. Some universities in Germany even allow you to study there with a B2 language certificate. And this is also a requirement for vocational training. Trust me, once you hit B2, so many doors will open to you. Reaching this upper intermediate level usually takes about 500 to 600 hours of study. And that's about 6 months of solid studying. So from absolute 0 to B2, we are currently looking at 13 months, and that's a lot of time, but you can definitely do it faster. Later in the video I'll exactly show you how you can do that. After B2 comes probably one of the most interesting language levels. Here German becomes really fun and you can do a lot with a language. C1. C1 means that you are basically fluent, and it's usually a requirement if you want to study at a German university in a German-taught program. You can use the language effectively in social, academic and professional contexts. For C1 you need to know a total of about 9000 words, and the study time is something between 700 and 900 hours. That's an additional 8 to 9 months. And well, if you want to reach C2, the highest possible language level, you need to put a lot of effort in. Achieving C2 often takes 1000 to 1200 hours of study. We can say that this one takes an entire year because you will most likely be in Germany or in a German environment. C2 is definitely a level that you don't learn at home on your own. If you count up the words, you need about 14,000 for the C2 level. You can assume that a normal native German speaker knows about 14,000 words. If you reach the C2 level, you will basically be on the level of a native speaker. But this one truly takes time and dedication. Now there are people out there telling you that you can go from 0 to B2 in 5 months and that everybody can do it, which is total garbage. These are the realistic hours you need for each level. So for each level, you need the knowledge from the one before. For example, to be able to complete the B2 level, you need knowledge from A1 A2 and B1. Don't try to skip a level, this will lead to massive confusion. Depending on your own study schedule and speed, you can easily calculate your own times. Comment your current German level down below. I read every single comment. Now the number of hours for each level, I didn't make them up. They are actually part of a common European framework of reference for languages, so they are official and well researched. Can you do it faster? Yes, absolutely. More on that in just a second. So let's say you want to study at a German university, for example. So how long do you need to learn German for that? Well, you can clear the B2 language exam in 8 months if you properly study the right resources. And for C1, which is the language requirement for most German taught degrees in Germany, you would spend a little over a year learning the language, which is the case if everything goes smoothly. Now the numbers might seem daunting at first, but it's actually quite manageable. I mean, many of us studied foreign languages in school for longer periods without necessarily reaching a B2 level, for example. The thought of being able to engage in conversations with native German speakers within just 1 or 2 years is truly incredible. You will also be able to properly write, read and hear German. So don't let the seemingly high numbers discourage you. Now there are also a lot of factors that can boost or slow down your language learning speed. For example, I see students often waste so many hours looking for the wrong material. And this especially happens if you try to learn everything completely on your own with random resources from the internet. One thing that is massively going to influence the speed is your environment. The optimal thing is being in a German environment, of course. That might be you living in Germany or changing everything in your surroundings to German. Phone and computer settings are in German and you consume as much German content as possible. And also the ideal scenario is that you have somebody you can talk German with. In a perfect world, you could travel to Germany and fully immerse yourself in German culture while attending a language course. However, in reality, most of us don't have more than a couple of hours for learning German each week, and we might be taking an online language course, for example. Now, online courses are also very effective, don't get me wrong. Most people get incredible results if the online course is high quality. But in order to make the most of this time, you'll need to choose appropriate learning methods. On top of the regular German lessons, you need to do some kind of revision. Reading, writing, listening and speaking. Having some kind of exercises for each lesson helps. Otherwise, it's going to take some more months and years and we don't want that to happen. So truth be told, how long it takes to learn German is really up to you. One of the main factors that determines how long it takes you to learn German is the amount of time you invest in studying. The more time you spend learning German, the faster you will gain basic proficiency. It's really that simple. A clear structure will also massively help you in the process, so that you can use your valuable time as efficiently as possible. Check out Speedy German and other useful resources in the video description, subscribe and join our huge Discord community. Love you and stay focused.